The reason why I tend to not argue with men and go back and forth with them is because I am a firm believer that probably more than half of them have an undiagnosed learning disability, or some type of intellectual disability that went unnoticed, that went undiagnosed. Like, honestly, for a lot of these men, they're not committed to misunderstanding you. They really don't understand you. They really do not understand what you're trying to explain to them, what you're trying, no matter how much you even like dumb something down, they literally still will not get it. And that's the reason why, even in the comments, I don't go back and forth with these men in the comments. I don't try to explain shit to them. I don't try to send them proof of anything. I don't do any of that. I'm not going to hold myself responsible because you didn't go see somebody for your learning disability that you have, because a lot of these men have a learning disability. What really highlighted this for me was the one time that I decided to work around a bunch of men when I worked in roofing sales, and that was short-lived because the lack of organizational skills, them making things 10 times harder than how it had to be, and their lack of like cognitive understanding of how to break things down into a systematic way in order for it to make sense. That was when I really realized, like, they're really not all that bright. And when you understand that and you accept that, it's so freeing. You don't even waste your time arguing or trying to explain yourself, because I'm just always going to cop it up to like, they're just something, they're not there all the way. And the thing about it is that the signs will be there when these boys are in school. I mean, the signs will fucking be there when they're in school and they're not doing well in school. That's the reason why they're saying, oh, women are leaving men behind. No, a lot of y'all just intellectually have a disability. And so it's a struggle for you to be able to stay focused to do schoolwork. It's a struggle for you to be able to sit and be able to read a book. Intellectually, is just something is kind of off and they're not there all the way. And I think it's important for women to understand that, because what is the point of you frustrating yourself and getting yourself all stressed out over someone that just doesn't have the capability? Because men literally think that I am like an intellectual scholar. They think that I'm like the smartest fucking person in the world. I'm not going to go that far, but you get what I'm saying. Like, a lot of men will avoid trying to debate me because they understand that they're not able to have an argument what it is that I'm saying. Because like, a lot of the time men will just disagree with you. A really easy way to tell that a man is not intellectually there is go on a video where there's a lot of men commenting. If a man cannot correct what you're saying with proof, with fact, intellectually he's not there. Because that's how a lot of men respond to things that they don't agree with, even when it's rooted in fact of what you said. I literally could sit here and say that statistically, women that are single and child-free rate themselves to be the happiest. And then a man will sit here and say, no, that's not right. And it's like, okay, well then give me the actual statistic that proves otherwise. Give me the proof, since I've been misinformed. Tell me what the correct answer actually is. Very rarely is a man going to give you the correct answer. He's just going to disagree with you. That's acting out of emotion. Any person that when you give them a fact and they just want to say no, intellectually something's not there. Okay? You have to give me proof as to why what I am saying is incorrect. This is the reason why a lot of men want women to be submissive. A lot of men want women to be submissive because men don't want to have to challenge the fact that they have a fucking learning disability. Honestly, that's why they want women to submit. If you're just submitting and agreeing with what a man says, he's never going to have to ever be in a predicament where he's showing you that he's really not all that smart. He's really not all that bright. So they're just depending on you to be submissive and not question anything. That way, it won't be obvious that he has a learning disability and that mentally and cognitively, he is not all there. He is not in a position for him to be able to make decisions and for him to actually lead. No. When people are constantly having to tell you that men are leaders, that should tell you that they're not leaders, because where's the proof that they're leading women on an individual basis? They will take all the accomplishments of men in the world, but on an individual basis, if you were to take every man and give every woman to a man, how is he going to be able to lead the both of them? Instead of taking the accomplishments of other men's achievements. They never can do that. They never can do it on an individual basis. They're always going to fall back to the 1% of men that have made achievements that have benefited the world. You can't take credit for what other people have done for you and then try to say that, oh, because they did it, I'm going to be able to do it. No. If you don't have the proof that you can lead, I just can't assume that because Steve Jobs created the iPhone that you're going to be able to do the same exact thing or something up to par with that thing just because you only commonality between you all are men. No. Any man that says I want a woman to submit to me, in my opinion, it means he's cognitively delayed. He doesn't want to be in a position where you have an idea and you have him question, okay, does my idea even make sense? Is her idea a little bit better? Is what she's saying, is that actually making a little bit more sense than what it is that I'm telling her? For me, that's always going to be a clear sign that, and he probably has something that's undiagnosed and he's just not aware of the fact that he has some type of mental and cognitive impairment. This is why male talking points tend to be very repetitive. For centuries, cat lady, spinster, they've been using the same talking points for century after century because they don't have any other talking points. And the thing about it is that these men aren't even really good at manipulating. It's just you're not believing the fact that they really aren't that bright. Like, it really is that simple. You will realize how the playbook of manipulation is the same, like 5 different manipulation tactics. It's just the 5 different ones that you share. When you have this thinking process that men are so unique and they're so different and they all are just coming up and scheming in all these unique different ways, you're going to think that they're actually a lot brighter than what they really are. When in reality, it's about 5 major things that you have to look out for. 5 major tactics that they're going to use to manipulate you. Once you know those 5, you pretty much know them all. Because they're all using the same exact playbook. They all have the same exact talking points. They're very predictable. People in general are predictable, regardless of gender. But you will catch on a lot quicker to what men are doing to you in the games that they're playing once you realize that intellectually they're just not all there. Okay, so they have to rely on some type of book. They have to rely on some type of like rule or code for them to follow because they can't come up with that shit on their own. Someone's just telling them to do that because it worked for them. Hence why they like the manosphere content so much, because the manosphere content is nothing but a rule book of what men should and should not do, even if it's not giving them the results that they want. Because very rarely is that what's happening. Very rarely are these men going into these watching this manosphere content and then it's actually giving them the result that they want. No, it's just someone telling them how to think because they don't have the cognitive ability to be able to think for themselves. And so they're just like, oh, well, this man is telling me what to do, and because he's a man, it must be right. And then these men are still like, oh, well, now I have all the 666 and now I still can't get a woman. Yeah, because you pretty much curated yourself to be attractive to another man. You didn't make yourself be attractive to a woman. If you intellectually knew what the fuck was going on, you would have been able to clock that already. Like, men are the ones saying that women care about that, when in reality, proof is showing you that women really don't care about that. Like, women just care about having a man most of the time. They will take a broke man or a short man. But this is how men are just so easily impressionable, because they know, the powers that be know that men are not there.